What's going on, everyone? It is Tuesday. Welcome to the castle. That's Card Stock Afterlock, CSAL is the acronym. I'm going to be your host alongside my good friend, Toe Tag and Tambo, Tyler Tamboline. What's going on, man? How's everything?
Everything's good, man. This is always good when I'm on with you doing a show, especially, topic we got today. We're going to talk a lot here. We're going back to Top Shot this week, try and bring some of the physical card aspects into it. I think there is some things that we can relay off of that this week and talk about. But when you and I get on here, as I alluded to pre-show, we always got something good to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think this is going to be a good show. I'm really excited about this topic. I think it's, we talked about the marketplace stabilizing, I think maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. Yeah, it had to be 2 weeks ago now. And so I'm really excited to kind of get into this one because it does feed into that somewhat. As usual, sportscardinvestor.com. I know we're talking Top Shot, but look, man, this show, wouldn't be possible without them. Please get over to sportscardinvestor.com. Use the promo code GRINDERS. That's going to get you 20% off your first payment of their outstanding tool, Market Movers. Market Movers is a legendary generational tool that's going to show you in real time where cards are trading, which cards are trending down, which cards are trending up. And it's fully integrated with eBay, right? They've got the eBay pricing there already, so you kind of know what's going on. Tells you how things have looked for the past 30 days. You can take it out for the past year and really see the ups and downs and where the pressure points were, where they were cheaper, where they were higher, and whether or not it's now a good time to buy. So once again, that's sportscardinvestor.com. Promo code GRINDERS, 20% off your first payment. That's for the month or for the year. No, if you use it for the month, you won't get it for the year. Go ahead and buy that year. 20% off, promo code GRINDERS, sportscardinvestor.com. Let's get into the meat and potatoes, Tambo. This week, we're talking about common packs, right? Because it seems to me, when we first kind of started on this Top Shot journey, it was really hard to get your hands on a pack. I mean, really, even a common pack, right? If we go back to, let's say maybe February, March, I mean, it was tough. Like, you just couldn't get your hands on one. And now, Tambo, everybody gets a pack. I mean, we got the Oprah syndrome. You get a pack, you get a pack, you get a pack. And I think it's helping out, especially, as we were talking pre-show, if you want to be a real collector, like this is a chance to get in. They've got the reservation process where you go in and reserve, then you come back and pay. I think fielding, where the pressure points are, maybe taking a look at how many people are going to get involved or how many accounts are going to get involved. So common pack accessibility seems to be coming around, and it feels like now we've got some stability in that area. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think that the words you use there at the end, stability, is the big one, right? You've got it now. And I know it's not a great thing to everybody's mindset. Like everyone's thinking, oh, now more moments, flood the market, all that. But again, we talked a little bit before and trying to bring some of the physical card aspect into it just to combine. I think there's a lot of things that aren't similar with Top Shot and physical card space. But I do think in this case here, Will, we've got a situation where people just, see $1 moments and think, oh, everything's in the trash. Well, there's a lot of things that aren't. You've got all these series ones and things that we could talk about later on where there still is, they're holding value and actually going up in some cases, the badge moments, different things like that. And then what I was saying is like my physical card collection here, I got 2 boxes full of cards compared to moments that you don't want or you don't care about, that I'm just not going to put them on eBay for $1. The difference is that you can do that here and leave your moments sit for $1. And so that's why you'll see more of that. And people just naturally lean to that and say, oh, well, everything sucks because of this. That's just what ends up happening. There's also people that have thousands of moments in their collection just sitting there and none are for sale. So that's kind of the other end of the spectrum. But I think, with the way they're working it right now with collector score, and they're trying to play around with that to make it make some sense for future, for accessibility to the, if you will, real packs, the ones that everybody actually wants. Because now people say, oh, reservation packs, not getting much out of them. They're just to get those moments out there. And again, the joke today on Twitter was the demand, to meet the demand. What demand? People said, well, again, marketing taps have not been turned on. So they need to get a lot of these things out there, have the moment bins filled up so that everybody has access. People know what getting a pack is all about, because that's the fun and excitement. And then when they turn the marketing on next season or whenever they choose to do so, that's when we'll know what this is all about. But the stability will be there, to your original point.
Yeah, for sure, man. And I think even, and looking at these common packs, they're $9. You're getting 3 moments, right? We still, at any point, right, somebody could pull a number 1 serial LeBron if they create a new moment. At any moment, right? And because as we've seen so far, serial numbers, or at least like 1 jersey number, stuff like that, birthday, those seem to be driving the higher prices. And clearly, if you've got one that's a 35K mint, you're not going to sell it for as much as a 12K, as much as an 8K, as much as a 10K, as much as a 4K, as much as a 499. And now we're starting to get into some rare stuff. But the point is, if you're collecting these moments, just hold on to them, right? The benefit is going to come back around at some point. And that doesn't mean every pack is going to be, plus 5,000 EV. It's not that. But there's still, and this is one of the things we kind of talked about, and I want to get your perspective on this as well. How many times have we sold one of those cheap moments just to kind of get rid of it, to say, I don't want to have this massive collection of trash moments that I don't really want? And then a week later, a day later, 5 days later, 2 weeks later, you need that same moment for a challenge. And you might have had 3 of the crappy moments that you needed for the challenge, but you sold it. And then you have to buy it back for more than what you sold it for if you want to compete in what we like to call the serial number sweepstakes for the challenge. So how do you feel about that? That's kind of a strategy I've switched over to, having somewhat of a diamond hands, if you will, with a lot of these throwaway moments, because just in case a challenge comes up, maybe that's the opportune time to sell it. Or maybe I actually want to get in on the challenge and now I only have to buy 2 moments versus 6 moments or 9 moments. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it does stem back a little bit too. So I'm with you on holding them. I've been there now for a while. I think that's just the way to go about it. Before we were just selling them for no reason, not really knowing what was going on. Certainly, you win some, you lose some in that scenario. Some you sold off and now they're way lower. Other ones you kept and you're pretty happy that you did at the time. But what I would say is it still comes back to the pack. And I want to, because we're on the theme of this today.
Yeah.
I'm hearing about this minus EV packs, and I spent $10 and I got 3 terrible moments. It might equal, $3 and then your fees and et cetera, et cetera. Again, you can, if you want those moments, I'm thinking about in the future for things like trade-in tickets and things like that, but I'm going to spend the $9 or $10, whatever it is, like you said, because of the lottery. I saw a guy out there got the LeBron number 1 the other day, said his girlfriend got it. It was retweeted out. All the accounts retweeted it on Twitter. Like, it can still happen in that sense. And then, that to me is worth the $9. I'm definitely paying that to try and get in on that. Or you could get some moments you want or like or whatever. But worst case scenario, if you don't buy in and have that lottery opportunity, it's a reservation back. You get one anyway. Everybody gets one, but there's some of them will have value in them. I'm still going to pay that to get that, because to go buy them, I could go buy them for $3, pick up 3 cheap moments right now for a future trade or for future challenges, whatever you might be speculating on. But I'm just going to buy the pack and look for that cheap lottery. It's $9. Maybe when it's 99 or 159 or whatever, I can understand some people saying that. But even then, and I know we're on common packs today, but even then, it's like everyone's, these are minus EV packs. Well, some are, but they're not in general, because there's actually some rares in there and some numbers and some jersey numbers. So someone's going to make $5,000 off the pack potentially, and someone's going to make 129 instead of 159, but you can't get the opportunity if you don't buy the pack. And again, it comes back to stability, like you mentioned earlier. I actually love to see it. I want to separate, the quote unquote rent seekers, if you will, out. And even if they're there, it's at some point to still try and get on these packs. It's all good. They're just part of the lottery too. But it is nice to see the market sort of come around a little bit and start seeing where you can make some moves. It will help us for future, especially for those that want to do it as an investment or get into it more and play it like a market.
Yeah. And I think one of the things you brought up just now that I think is big time is the fact that with some of these higher end packs, and I know we're talking about common packs, but this is feeding into the higher end. They started with, hey, you need to have at least, 1 rare moment, at least 15 moments, or at least 4. And so now you're starting to see, okay, we're not just going to be able to just hop in and luck into a $99 or $199 or a $1,000 pack. Like they're starting to become stipulations. So some of these packs that you're buying now, you may need these moments later. Yeah, the moments are cheaper now. So if someone wants, 15 moments, they can go out and spend $15 and get 15 moments. But the point is, there's a lot more stipulations now versus a few months ago where it was just, let's hop in the queue and see if we can luck into something. Well, there are stipulations on even getting the luck box pack now, right? So these reservation packs, in my opinion, are a way to say, hey, we're trying to invite everyone in the community. We want everyone to have equal opportunity at some of our higher impacts. So go ahead, join the community, have fun, collect, invest, whatever, but get in on these packs because this is what's going to feed you into the other higher end ones. So those are kind of my thoughts there. Any more thoughts on that, Tambo, or if not, we'll move to the next thing.
Well, yeah, real quick to end it out on that thought you just had. I think it's important to remember, like, I can hear it now. I can see it now, whatever you want to call it, Will, in the future, like 6 months from now, when there's someone that doesn't get in on one of these packs because they didn't fall. They were just waiting along on the outside all the way, skipping out on all this stuff. Well, it's cheap. Well, it's available. Well, it's accessible. Everything's there for you. And they're going to be the ones to say, oh, I've been with Top Shot for a year and I can't get in on one of these. And some new person coming in can get this. Like, it's depends on what they did, or someone's been here 3 months less than me, but that their 3 months they spent buying these packs, doing the challenges, setting up the showcases. It's all little things, but it's part of the fun, part of the experience. It's, again, if you're in on Top Shot, you should be in on all these things. If you're watching this, you're probably in on Top Shot to try and just figure out how to make money on it 24/7. To me, is just some of the funniest stuff. Like, you're even with my personal collection, again, back to bringing the physical card aspect in, I still got cards that are PC, personal collection. I ain't selling them. They're mine. I want those. I want to collect them. So that's going to stay in the kit, and maybe way down the road, or for my kids or whatever they might be, they're not going anywhere. But then there's other ones that I'm buying to flip. So again, always, as I say, it comes back to your strategy, but I just see it as that way. And I just know there's going to be people that are disappointed or angry, but they didn't really play the game or follow along the way. So why would they get rewarded for that?
Yeah, for sure. And now that you've mentioned that, like Top Shot, they've got one of these, I guess what I would call maybe a mini challenge, right? Where they've got this make the showcase, right? And they say, hey, get these moments, get you 3 assist moments, 3 Sea Stars moments, 3 assists by point guards, 3 dunks by centers. Put that showcase together, you'll earn a cool catch moment. So it's kind of like this mini challenge, right? Where you can you may already have some moments, not all moments. Maybe you don't have to go out and buy them all. And so I think that's a big deal, that they're doing something like this. And then, like you said, if you go to your collection, you may already have some of these moments. Like, I'm looking at a dunk right now. I've got the Taj Gibson, debut moment. Now, are they considering Taj Gibson a center? I don't know. I've got Bam Adebayo on a dunk, 35K min. Are they considering him a center? Maybe they're considering him a forward. But my point is, I've got a lot of these moments. I've got the Kemba Walker assist. I've got a Facundo Campazzo assist, right? I've got, let's see, I'm sure I've got all these things here. But my point is this: a lot of these moments, I already had them in my collection because I started holding on to my moments, right? I didn't just start giving them away or anything like that. So I think that's another part that makes it really fun. You put that showcase together. I've got the James Wiseman rookie. He's considered a center. I've got that to put together with the dunk. So this is all really exciting. Looks like I may need to pick up another point guard. I'm shocked I didn't have another point guard assist. But I've got a lot of those guys as well. But either way,
LaMelo's got a pretty nice assist out there if you want to go pick that thing up.
Yeah. I'm waiting on that one. I think me and you both are kind of, we're like, we're playing duck hunt. We're waiting for him to
Fingers crossed. A little bit cheaper. A little bit cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit more, man. That's what I'm saying. And right now we might get it cheaper. No shots fired at your team, but they're not playing some good ball right now. So we got to hope to see them pick it up in the second half. That's here nor there. But one last thing you just made me think of too was, the utility factor that's starting to show already. Like, so I believe it's Moment Ranks that put together a little game that you could play where you're putting in almost like daily fantasy. Again, we come from the daily fantasy space where you can tie that together and you've got your moments that you're setting up. And funny, because you kept mentioning there, maybe they're considering a center or not. We're used to the multi-positional eligibility from playing on all these sites, but that's kind of what they're going to be utilizing these. Top Shot themselves, it was leaked a couple of weeks ago, had some stuff that they talked about where there's going to be some showcase challenges down the stretch where you're going to be able to put together a squad of guys that are in the playoffs and, have a little bit of a game there with some rewards in the line. So we're getting there. I know they've talked about already testing things like hard court in the back end. And so there's a lot more coming now where, again, you're going to want to have these moments. You don't know what use you're going to be able to put them to. And so that's why, like, I'm not going to go out and buy every $1 moment, but this is a time if you want to collect a set or go after something that you should go out and be doing that. I know we're talking about packs. I'm switching a little bit to marketplace, but it's also how those packs affect the marketplace. And you and I talked a little bit before with our producer as well, just about maybe picking up some sets where you're going to be the owner of a set now that you may never see it go that low. And those really could have some future value, not just in the investment standpoint to make money off of them, but for utility features as well. You could be anybody who owns at least 5 MGLE moments or something like that, that you get into something because of that.
Yeah, man, for sure. I mean, like you talked about, the utility factor with what's coming down the pipeline, I think it's going to be really exciting. Like, so first of all, I'm just a huge NBA fan. So that's priority number one. It's absolutely my favorite sport, not just NBA, basketball in general is my favorite sport. So I'm watching 5th graders, 6th graders, middle school, JV, B team, high school. I'm watching it all, right? So I'm just, immersed in it. But the fact that in terms of the utility, man, I can't wait for the time where maybe I'm able to, utilize some moments to get some tickets. Like, that's going to be a good feeling, right? Because I want to go to the Hornets games anyway, win or lose. And so that's going to be huge. I'm going to kind of shift because we've kind of already been there. But in terms of the common pack access, which I think is really good, are there any other ideas you think you have in terms of them feeding into more valuable packs long term? So outside of maybe just having 15 moments, at some point, do you think they're going to say something like had to have open 5 common packs or anything like that? And I know they've got stipulations. I'm just kind of thinking outside the box to say, it seems like they want real collectors involved in the more valuable packs. So I think that's how the common packs are going to, play into having access to those. What are your thoughts? Any more thoughts on that?
Yeah, I definitely like what they're doing with the collector score index and that sort of thing, where they're trying to put it together. But you can tell, and they've stated it too, but they're working on this, right? It has to be a work in progress because they're out of the gate, for example, when they had the very first set of stipulations and you had to have a certain amount of moments. Someone saying, well, I collected 15, 20, I collected 50 moments. I sold them all, consolidated into one big moment that I'm excited about, a LeBron Series 1 or something like that. Like, how am I not a real collector? I just did all the work to get back collecting, selling, moving it up, and then gaining what I wanted in the end to collect, which is a LeBron S1 that's not even for sale. It's in my thing. I spent a lot of money. I did it. So then you saw the next time they molded it to, oh, okay, and if you spent this amount of money, and if you did this, you're still in too. And so I think it's a work in progress. I don't have any, fantastic ideas off the top of my head on things they can continue to do, but I do like the collector score in the sense that it's going to be a work in progress, but there is some certain benefits to it that will make sense. They just have to find out exactly what works. And again, that's why when people say, well, we're not, how are we still in beta? Because they made X amount of dollars. It doesn't matter about the dollars they made. They're trying to still figure things out. So like I said, when they do turn on the marketing tap and really go pretty hard with it, we could expect to see a lot more people hop onto the site and get in there. They're working on withdrawals right now, right? Access to that. They just loaded up. I'm Canadian, so I bring this point up. I just got access to be able to take it out in a wire to a Canadian bank. That took them a while to get there, but they got there on pretty close to the timeline they said. So they're coming through with what they say they're going to do. They're putting together good ideas to make sense of it in the long term. Again, we're still really early. For this many people to be in and out this quick, to me, is also a little bit baffling when you think about what the long term could be and what's ahead that hasn't even happened yet. Back to everything you just talked about, being able to use it for tickets, going to a game and getting a moment because it's affiliated with them. Like, it hasn't got to the mainstream yet. We live in a bubble, and you think everyone's heard about it. Go ask 10 of your friends that don't know much about, they might watch the playoffs and things like that. Doesn't mean they're going to hop right in, but a lot of those people have got into these things, across the industry and other games and things like that. I've had friends that didn't play daily fantasy for years and then finally said, I'm going to hop on in and join you on it because I like hockey. So I'll try it out for hockey. And they're sending me pictures of their $1, $2 lineups. Again, everybody's different and gets in different ways and at different times, but we definitely are still early when you think about what the future could hold here.
Absolutely. I'm with you, man. Top Shot beta. And look, they've been, and I think that's all you can ask for, right? When you've got a company that's new, are you seeing the things you need to see to show that they're improving? I would think we're seeing it now. Maybe some people could argue it could have been earlier. I think they're doing great. I think they're right on schedule with trying to make sure they fix things fix things, make sure that the product is going to be palatable for multiple people across multiple countries, across multiple, like that's kind of where they're going here. So I like what I'm seeing. I like where they're heading, and I think it's still going to be a stable product. And we haven't even talked about them getting in the NFL yet and the boost that that's going to have if they decide to do that. This was definitely the testing ground to see, okay, how can we make this work for large scale? And last thing, and then we'll hop to that last topic. And I know we always kind of bring football in the Top Shot, but if you think about daily fantasy, what's the biggest sport that people hop? It's football. It's NFL. Everybody and their grandma wants it. One of the longest standing sports in the country. A lot more casuals, right? Casuals get into DFS, and some stay, right? I started as a casual. I didn't start as a professional in DFS, right? I came over from season long. I had a season long league with my friends from ADP at the time. Some of my friends worked for this, a human resources company called ADP, and they had a league, and I joined their league, and we go to this little restaurant and have our draft every year. And then I hopped into daily fantasy, and lo and behold, I came to RotoGrinders and figured out that, it takes, skill to kind of win consistently, a little bit of luck to win, right? But you need some skill to be able to get it done. And I think that's something similar here that will happen with Top Shot, right? NFL will bring in more casual collectors, and out of, let's say, 100,000 casuals, maybe 5,000 become really hardcore collectors. That's all you can ask for, right? And so I think that will feed into the other Top Shot products, or whatever they're going to name it for each sport. And of course, if people are involved in NFL, they will dip their toe in NBA and see how they feel about it. And lo and behold, maybe you have even more guys that are fans of the NBA, of Top Shot, and that creates the community. That creates the continuity, right? And so now these moments, the common packs get going, and more people want packs. It builds the excitement. The utility gets better. Bam, Top Shot comes out of beta, and now everybody's sitting on the sidelines like, well, I thought it was a flop, but clearly there's some stability there. I know I plugged it in. Hop on in that, Tambo, because I know you got a whole boatload to say.
Yeah, well, it was just all the things you just said, right? And that's what it comes down to. Football is always more, but like that's the thing. In the physical card space, it's NBA cards. Like NBA cards are the king. LeBron's, Michael Jordan's. You go back to that. Obviously, NFL cards still hold value. There's plenty of good ones out there. There's niche spaces that you can get into, tennis and golf and all these things that we could talk about. But that's the thing here. It's almost the opposite, where NFL is going to really bring more people in. Everybody watches the Super Bowl, and that's just like you said. We get those casuals. It doesn't matter. But if they want to get a cool moment, or if they get to attend a game or something like that, and it comes from that, more and more people are going to get in, and then more will stay put, because you'll have it's all about numbers, and that's the numbers game, which when they turn the switch on, you'll have all of that. And I guess that's again another topic I'll get your thoughts on, Will, is what do you like, how, if it does affect it badly, how much negative effect or negative impact do you think if MMA or with UFC or with NFL comes out, how much effect do you think will have on the marketplace for NBA? Because it sounds like packs will still be fully accessible. Things will all be there. We didn't talk about this yet, but like there is Series 1 moments here that you can look at that are holding their value and actually going up. It's just there's a ton of moments that are also going down. So it's kind of been about picking the right moments and finding your spots, feeling good about it. But how much, if any, negative impact do you think something like NFL dropping will have on the value of the marketplace for NBA Top Shot?
I would say maybe the later ones. It seems to me, and I'm piggybacking that into what you're talking about. It seems to me like Series 1 is just going to be king, period, right? Like whatever series, if you can get your hands on really good Series 1 moments, I think you're going to have really good longevity. I think the prices will kind of rise. So, and watch this. I'm saying that because we're talking about NFL and how it's going to affect the marketplace. I think it'll affect maybe bad, and I don't want to say bad players, but non-popular players, right? Like, I don't think it's going to affect LeBron too much, or like big time Zions, like Zion rares or Giannis rares, Kevin Durant rares, hard stuff like that. But some of these Curry, players like that. But like your Rudy Gobert, who's, while he's always going to make the All-NBA team, he's just not as popular. Devin Booker is kind of in between, but he's still not as popular as Zion. Chris Paul, legendary player, but still not as popular. Hasn't won that championship. Dame, same thing. I think some of those Series 2 moments, we'll probably see them come down just in the natural swing of things. But I think Series 1 and then, your big-time players, I don't think they'll be affected as much. Like even when I'm looking, because I pulled up these seeing stars moments because I want to see kind of where they were. And this kind of shows me the market, right? Seeing stars, Bradley Beal, $44. Damian Lillard, 47. Jason Tatum, 48. Jaylen Brown out for the season, still $43. Devin Booker, 46. Domantas Sabonis, 42. Rudy Gobert, 44. Zion, 73. See? Price increase, a more popular player. Anthony Davis, 60. 60 for Anthony Davis, who, before we might have thought he was a little bit more popular than Zion. Seems like we have a shift here. Julius Randle, 47. Donovan Mitchell, 44. Giannis, 61, right? Ben Simmons, 44. Vooch, 43. I'm doing this for a reason. Chris Paul, 48. Luka Doncic, 90. International appeal star. Nikola Jokic, 60. Mike Conley, this one was a reward, so his should be a little bit more, less minted moments. 74. Yeah. Paul George, 44. Kawhi, 49. Joel, 55. Curry, 107 on his seeing stars moment. Zach LaVine, 44. Kyrie, 51. Harden, I was a little shocked by this one. Kind of right in that in between, 57. Kevin Durant, 285. LeBron, 520. What does that tell you? The popular players are going to continue to carry the value. Now, the LeBron and the KD were both reward moments, and LeBron's still carrying more weight in terms of how much you have to spend versus Kevin Durant. I think that's all we need to know, Tambo. The big-time players are going to continue to carry value. The other guys are going to – I hit my mic there. Sorry. Are going to kind of be slightly above the rest of the field, right? So it feels like the average for a seeing star is about $44, $45. Your next level star is going to be around 60, 70. And then your big-time players, 100, 265, 520. That's how it's going to be. I think that's what the marketplace is going to look like. And that's how I think we'll see that separation build. And so as you want to buy bigger time, more popular players, you have to dig into your dapper a little bit and spend a few dollars and buy those. And I think the same thing is coming true for NFL, right? Now that we're involved, we understand when NFL drops, we need to get in on these series one moments or whatever they're going to call them, field goal one or whatever they're going to call them. We need to try as much as possible. And not only the rares, the commons, because they're going to carry more value than anything else on any other season outside of rookies and big time moments. I'm going to shut up and let you talk, Tambo.
Well, the only thing you missed there was when you dropped the mic, said new mic, $97. Give us a price on that one too. But just to click it back, and I think it's a good segue here to, round this thing out, is just a lot of those seeing stars ones you were mentioning. These guys are all in the playoffs, most of them, a lot of them. And now we've got the playoffs coming up. So do you foresee, or, just a quick topic on this, I'll let you go again, but, with the playoffs coming, what type of boost are you expecting, if any, to some of these moments for these stars? And if that's the case, do you focus on some of these? Is there an investment opportunity here with something like the seeing stars that are LEs commons, but only 10,000, where they could have a little bit more of an ROI or an increase than maybe, getting in on the S1s and stuff? Again, the S1 should go up, but if you turn 1,000 to 1,100 versus could 50 go to 100, you know what I mean? You're doubling your money on that. So you know what I'm coming from, right? Like, what's your thoughts on that? Because even Curry, you mentioned, was boosted, and obviously he's been just going off. Been talks of even people, LeBron came out and said he should be the MVP, when to me it's pretty clear that it was Jokic. Like he said, just had himself a season and finished strong. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on these guys with these playoff moments and where we see these go in the next few weeks here?
Well, for me, I think, Tambo, if we want to do it, you got to pick your players that you want right now. Because after they hit the 3-point game winner, it's too late. The moment's already gone up. I've missed my opportunity. And the reason why I'm bringing it up that way is because here's the other reality, Tambo, and I know this. The moments are going to spike when big things happen. And when the offseason comes, the moments are going back down. So you got to identify, sell, and if you really want the moment, wait until the playoffs ends. You'll be able to go pick it back up, probably for what you spent for it or maybe a little less, right? And so that's kind of the way I'm viewing the playoffs. I do think, like you said, some of these lower minted moments, I would probably go after some of those that are cheaper, like seeing stars, like some of your all-star ones, like maybe even some cool cats that you like, that are some popular players that are going to be in there. And let me see if anybody in cool cats is in the playoffs, because I think that would be a really big deal as well. I'm waiting for the so like Anthony Davis reward, that's $90. He should be in the playoffs. Goran Dragic, they're already in the playoffs. Sabonis looks like they're at least going to the next play-in rounds. Kristaps Porzingis, Nikola Jokic, that was $100 because it was a reward. Westbrook, that was a reward. So I think picking up some of these now, the Luka Cool Cat was a reward. That one's $1,650. Very shocked at that. That seems a little pricey for me, but still, like, I think going after some of these guys that are in the playoffs is definitely the way to go.
Real quick on that, I just want to say this because I think this is a potential spot. I'm not going to guarantee anything, but I just do think this is interesting. Guys like Booker or Dame Lillard that are going to get the last shot, that are going to be there. And you almost have to treat it like a survivor pool, you know, where you got to pick your squad in advance of the playoffs and you're picking the teams that you expect to be in the end. Of course, you make mistakes and you get it wrong and there's upsets along the way. But again, the NBA in a 7-game series, it's tough to beat some of these guys. So you can kind of pick and choose your spots like that and be able to find some values that way. And then honestly, if you just want to leave it, I would just list it for more than you bought it for. And then when those games happen or that spike happens, that's where you could make your money, right? If that's what you want to do, because I do agree with you that it'll go back down after. We've been honest about that on the show. We're trying to just give ideas and thought processes. And I think that's a good one where you could say, look, the other guys like Dame and Booker don't get as much love, but they are the superstars on their team. I know Chris Paul's there, et cetera, but I'm just saying they are the superstars. They're the guys that are likely to get the last shot. You saw in the physical card space, this is one thing that I think will connect at least. When Luka hit that game-winning 3 in the playoffs, it wasn't really for anything. It gave them a little bit of hope, but they just weren't expected to go on. They did not go on after that, as you know, most expected. But you saw what it did for his PSA 10 overnight, basically, right? Everyone went out to buy it up. So I think there is some opportunity there in something like that. Again, take a little bit of a risk, but is it really that much risk? Would be my final point. When what's the worst case scenario is you're left with a LE or a rare or something, depending on how much you feel like spending on Dame Lillard, where you're left with a Dame Lillard moment. Like, how bad is that? This guy's great. You still got a nice moment there. You picked it up for a reason. So again, comes back to your strategy, but I wouldn't be hurt by that if I was left with, you know, some Dame Lillard moments, for example.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking at a Dame Lillard one right now, and it's a one badge, just his Top Shot debut, clearly, because he wasn't a rookie when Top Shot started. But I mean, it's only, and I'm saying only, it's a Series 1, 1,433 LE mint, and it's $840. And yeah, that's a little bit more expensive than, you know, what probably most people want to pay. But my point is, it's his debut moment. That's his only other debut are his legendary. He's got a legendary at 49 LE mint, and that was, I'm not sure if that was Deck the Halls, Deck the Hoops. I don't think it was Deck the Hoops, but anyway, it was a Cosmic. Sorry, he's got a hollow, right, and that was at 75,000, and then he's got a rare at 299. Like that, those are the moments, and then that same moment is the common version of it, and that's 840. So I'm just saying, you know, not saying that it's going to go up to, you know, 1,600, but you know, maybe 1,200, maybe 14. You know, you never know. And like you said, worst case scenario, it's still Series 1, right? Series 1, Top Shot debut. I think, you know, even though it's a little bit expensive, I think these are the types of moments I want to go after for my playoff guys. Series 1, where we know it's probably not going to take too much of a dip, even if we put our hands on it.
Yeah, final thought on that, because we got to get out of here. But the Seeing Stars Dame Lillard is also $47 out of 10,000. Just to bring this up, a couple quick final points is that one is like, you wouldn't be stuck with anything. This is pretty much what we've seen for a floor on the price. It could really only go up. If it goes from 47 to 65, that's a pretty good ROI if you want to get into this business. Worst case, you're left with a Dame Lillard Seeing Stars, part of a set that you could need for later, good for collector score, all these factors. And then just final point, Will, and I'll let you take us home. That Dame Lillard you brought up, 840 out of 1433, his debut moment, LE. I know it's $840, but it is 5 purchases removed from 950, 7 purchases removed from 1,000. Like if 6 people go and buy it, it's worth almost $1,000. So if that's the one that people target that night when that moment pops off, or his new moment that he's creating on the floor, that's where I'm saying you can get into it for that if you want to. It's just an idea.
Yeah, for sure. I'm with you, man. We're going to close this thing out. Listen, folks, thanks for joining us. I think this has been a fantastic show, Tambo. You know, it's always a good vibe. We always, you know, just have nuggets along the way, man. So I really enjoyed it. As we close out, once again, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about sportscardinvestor.com. Get on over there, 20% off your first payment. Promo code GRINDERS, sportscardinvestment.com. Get in on the Market Movers tool. This was The Castle. Card Start After Lock. We'll see you again next Tuesday.